All right, y'all. It has been an amazing start to November. I want to say we already have, I think, like almost 5 stack earners this month. It's like 2 weeks into the month. Y'all have been crushing. We have so many that have either earned all of their customers or they've gotten their brand partner and they're working on their customers. Do me a favor. If you're walking out of November with a stack, put a 7 in the comments for me. If you're claiming your stack right now, put a 7 in the comments for me. I love it. I love it. I love it. Again, crazy energy. Huge shout out to Kevin Moore and his team who have already hit the rank of diamond this month, running on their way to black diamond. Huge shout out to them. I know that they've got a ton of amazing rank advancements happening all throughout the team. So huge shout out to y'all. Love seeing the energy. Love seeing the activity. It's been amazing. All right. Who else can I shout out here? Who else can I give a little love to before we get started here? Carrie Codis, I want some of your oatmeal. I saw you on live right before we started here. Carrie was making some amazing keto oatmeal, and now I'm going to have to make some as soon as I'm done with this live. All right, Brian Heflin checking in from Puerto Rico. What's going on, Mr. Heflin? Appreciate you stepping in here, brother. Good to see you. All right, you guys. All right, we're going to get started here in about 1 minute, so make sure we're loading it up. November has been crazy, and what are we leading up to, y'all? We got this call tonight, which hopefully is going to give you a notebook, at least a couple pages filled with some fun notes on how you can go run into the rest of this week. The goal being, what have we been talking about? Our opportunity zooms, right? These tools that we've implemented. This opportunity zoom every Wednesday night is an amazing resource for you to be able to bring new prospects, help them get the information that they need. I've been saying this to a lot of groups, and I'm going to say it again tonight. There is nothing, and I love you. I'm saying this all love in my heart, but there is nothing that is less exciting than going into next week, a week full of deals, knowing exactly the volume that your team's going to produce. It's not that fun, right? Like, you know, they're going to buy the same stuff that they bought last year and the same time last year. It's the same people buying the same stuff, getting the same deals. You know what's really exciting? Is a handful of new people coming in your business with a handful of new networks where you go into next week with all these fun deals going, I have no idea what kind of numbers my team's going to do this week. I have no idea. And so that is the goal, loading up this Wednesday's call, taking as much information out of tonight as we can, loading up Wednesday's call, making sure we can get as many new people in the funnel over this week as possible so that they can capitalize on the amazing stuff that we're bringing to you next week. So as we close up the little intro here, I want to bring on the man of the hour this evening. Again, it's always fun when you get to introduce someone that you really love and that you've been, you know, blessed to be surrounded by for my entire life. I have seen Eric Worre, who you're about to hear from, not only be at the top of multiple network marketing companies, the very top, #1 income earner, but I've also seen him be a company owner. And for the last well over a decade now, has been a coach to the entire profession of this beautiful, beautiful thing we call network marketing. And over that decade plus has helped tens of thousands of people unlock their full potential. The one thing that I love the most is that, you know, my father will always say he's not doing anything for you other than opening up your mind to the possibilities of what your life could look like. It's up to you. What I love is that he comes with decades and decades and decades worth of experience and worth of knowledge. He spends his life studying this profession. He spends his life working with the top leaders, the $1 million earners all over the world within our space. He consults for the most successful companies within our space. And so I'm so excited that he's here and is going to share a little bit about how we can juice up our activity this November And I'm super grateful for his time. Without any further ado, I want to bring on Mr. Eric Worre. There he is.
Hey. Hello, everybody. How are you? Hey, son. How's it
Hey,
going?
hey, hey. I'm super glad you're here. And
You look like you should have a guitar and like be singing a country song or something.
I started No Shave November about 6 months ago. So I'm just gonna see how far we
No,
can
you
get
look
with it.
great. You
But
look
I'll tell
great.
you, I know you've been running like crazy. You've been on nonstop Zooms. This has been, I'm sure, kind of a fun season for you. This
Yeah.
last 6 months, you're turning on the jets, and I think you say it best. You're still working at a fraction of your potential,
It's
and
true.
working on expanding on that daily. But what I love is seeing this activity out of you over the last few months. I'm sure it's exhausting, but also energizing at the same time. Talking with all these amazing groups of people and building up to what I know is going to be an amazing event next month. And we'll talk about that later. But fill me in on a little bit about what you've been hearing in the space. You've been saying it on some of these calls we've been talking about. So we've got kind of everyone's been seeing the same thing, right? Customer acquisition within our space has always been kind of solid. As long as you got a good product and you got something, the customers will find their way as long as you're sharing them. But the whole profession has been seeing a dip when it comes to distributor acquisition. We call them brand partners here at HCO.
Mhm.
And so really wanting to put a little bit of a spotlight, a focus on how we can be getting more prospects to take a look at our business, not just our products, right?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. As you mentioned, I've been around this profession for 35 years, and in doing that, there's a lot of repeating patterns, and you look for repeating patterns in any business or in your life because the breakthrough is found in the repeating pattern. When you see it and you have the opportunity to change something from it, you become a little bit more wise and a little bit more valuable to the marketplace. So 35 years ago, when I got started in the profession, I had certain beliefs that turned out not to be true. I had beliefs about the cost of the product. I had beliefs about people's openness or not openness to being an entrepreneur. I had beliefs about who would listen to me based upon my reputation. I had lots of different beliefs about the products, everything. And we're in such an interesting time post pandemic because people went into the pandemic and for the most part, most organizations had a little bit of a spike, a little bit of a pop where everybody went home and they said, well, don't have anything else to do. Let's talk to each other on Zoom and let's try and build a business from home. So sales went up, revenue went up, but on the other side of sales and revenue, it lasted about 10 months or so from the time the pandemic kicked in until it started to dip a little bit. And then this list started to show up. The list was of these reasons why we weren't growing. It's the economy, the products are too expensive. People are not interested in starting a business right now. They're too stressed out. There's too much competition out there. There's other things that people could be doing. There's a lot of distractions on social media. The algorithms changed. I can't get my people to go to work. People aren't interested in opportunity. People don't like network marketing. They can't afford to stay on our products. A million different things. People are lazy now. All this stuff, and reflecting over the list of what I've heard in the last 2 years, essentially, and what I heard 35 years ago, is they're the same list. It's the same list of what I've learned are limiting beliefs that are actually not true. If you think people can't afford your products, that's not true. They're buying other products. You just have to give them a reason to buy yours. There's people say, well, network marketing saturated or nobody likes network marketing. That's not true. Most people have no idea what network marketing is. You just have to become better at explaining it, introducing a prospect to some sort of a tool or an event that will educate them so they understand a little bit more. I think people aren't interested in being in business for themselves. It's completely not true. They certainly don't know that there's an opportunity to go into business for yourself, but have all the support taken care of for you. Most of it, you just have to do some marketing, word of mouth advertising. So as a result of all this, what I've learned is, looking across 300 companies or so, is there's been a second pandemic. The first pandemic was coronavirus. The second pandemic inside of network marketing is this list of limiting beliefs that have been given oxygen and life and allowed to sink their teeth in, and convinced, maybe not you, but maybe convince somebody on your team that, now is not a good time for whatever reason, or here's why I'm not having success. So what happened with a lot of companies is the field all at once started complaining about this list. They bring it to the leaders, and the leaders, people like you, they're like, man, this feels different. After pandemic, it seemed like everybody flipped a switch. What's going on? And the leaders sometimes went to the companies, and I'm not saying your company did. I'm not sure exactly what they did when it come to response to all this, but most companies kind of went bananas, overreacting with flash sales and bonuses and 2-for-1s and everything in the world, which is great. And whenever the company comes up with one, I know you're coming up with one on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, take it, run with it, go crazy with it. But when that promo's done, the comp plan should be enough to be able to motivate you to go do what's going to be in your best interest. Take the bonus. Company's going to give it to you. It's a gift. Wonderful. It's going to be great for the prospect. It's going to be great for yourself. But don't only work when there's a promo. In some companies, not yours, people got so addicted to it that they literally wouldn't work at all unless there was a promo. There's some sort of giveaway. So
we had a little bit of that we had to get rid of it as well. I mean, how many people can remember when free shipping in the last 3 days of every month was kind of a common occurrence? Everyone got really used to the free shipping coming at the end of the month. We finally had to say, we can't do that anymore. We can't wait for everyone just to wait for the free shipping at the end of the month. We gotta get back in. Our comp plan is so strong. It pays, and now with the addition of this 4-in-1 system, it's so strong. So totally. I think that we weren't immune to that as well. I think everyone caught a little piece of that.
Sure. I mean, look, if you're an empathetic person, I'm an empath. If you're an empathetic person to somebody else naturally, that's your emotional state. Put a 1 in the chat just so I can see how many of you are empaths. So quite a few. Yeah. I mean, if I go visit a friend in the hospital, I get sick, just from the visit. Not because of germs, just because emotionally. Here's the danger of being an empathetic person. First of all, let me ask you this before I get to that. How many of you consider yourself tough? You're a tough person. Put a 5 in the chat so I can see the difference in the numbers. You're a tough person. So a lot of tough people. So question, and I'll answer it for you so you don't have to save your thumbs, is what made you tough? Was it the promo? Was it somebody giving you something for free? What made you tough? Difficulty, getting punched in the face, people quitting your team and you rebuilding, going through changes in the company, going through changes in product, going through changes in comp plan, going through emotional stuff with your team, dealing with adversity in your family. I mean, getting smashed in the face made you tough. Truly, you handled it, right? And kind of post-pandemic, a lot of people, the wind blows in their face and they start crying. They didn't get punched in the face. The wind blew and they just burst into tears. Just like, what in the world? What is going on? All I did was ask you to have a conversation with somebody and put them on the phone with me. That's all I asked. All I asked is to get them on a Zoom. That's all I asked. It's like, geez, come on. Everybody's so sensitive. nowadays. Let's toughen up a little bit, right? So what I'm seeing is the field in the profession right now is fragile. However, those of you that are already tough, if you will flex your toughness just a little bit, you and your company will become known in the world more than it is now. And you and the company will start to attract good people. But they're not going to come knock on your door. You have to go and do something that for some of you is going to be uncomfortable. Okay. I'm an introverted person. Talking to a stranger or just starting up a conversation is not a natural thing for me. I lose energy in a crowd. When I'm on an airplane, I'm on the window seat and I've got a book. I'm not an aisle seat guy. I'm a window seat with a book, like guarding me against the person sitting next to me. I just want to chill, have my space. I recharge when I'm staring at the wall, when I have quiet time. So with that, how do I have success in network marketing? Because have you ever seen those people who just are walking recruiting machines everywhere they go? They make me so uncomfortable. Like you drive Uber to the airport and they're recruiting the Uber driver. You get off and they go to person who's grabbing your bags and they try and recruit that person. Then they go to the ticket desk and they try and recruit that person. Then they're on the airplane, they're trying to recruit that person. And then when you get to off there in another Uber with them and they're trying to recruit that person, you get to the hotel and the person behind the counter, they're trying to recruit them and they're trying to recruit the person who's cleaning their room and the person who brings them food at the restaurant. And I'm just like, Susan, you want to be like that? I still to this day cannot relate to it. It makes me so uncomfortable. I like walk away kind of while they do their thing. I admire it. Don't get me wrong. I admire it. They really want to help. But me, I have to like think it through, right? So I've got to come up with a way. How can I be successful in a way where all these natural extroverts are just out there crushing it? So there's a big lie that's going on in around the world from millionaires and billionaires. Crazy thing that's being told over and over and over again. And I understand their concept, but I don't know why they're being quite as loud as they are about the thing. When people say, what's your success do you have? What secrets to success do you have for me? And the millionaires and billionaires, you know what they say? Only do what you love. Because if you only do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. So, do you think that's good advice? Do you think that's real life? Only do what you love? Only? Olympic athlete doesn't only do what they love. A prima ballerina doesn't only do what they love. A parent doesn't only do what they love. They love their kids, but they don't only do what they love when it comes to raising them. They do some stuff that they don't like while they're raising them, right? So I knew that success was on the other side of building a team. So the recruiting part was my barrier that I did not love, scared me to death, intimidated me. But I knew that in order to get leverage, I needed to go bring some people in on the team. And then I needed to find out which of those people wanted to go to work and then work with the willing and teach them how to do the same thing. Right. So I would love to tell, so people said, well, just do these things and you get the results. And I was ambitious enough to follow instructions and I was able to recruit some people. However, they told me that if you do it long enough, eventually you'll love it. And that wasn't true either. I never really loved it. I knew it was necessary, I knew I needed to do it. I knew I needed to face my fear and be uncomfortable, but I never just loved it. I'm a 10 out of 10. When it comes to recruiting, I can recruit. Okay. But I have to psych myself up. I have to prepare myself emotionally to do it. So I figured out a way to get past that. And I will give you a couple tips when it comes to recruiting that might help you. One, and you should write this down. All business is conversation. All business is conversation. So what does that mean? If you're having conversation about your business, you're in business. If you have more conversations, your business is going to be bigger. All business is conversation. So your job is to start conversations and to keep them going, and then to deepen those conversations. So if you're asking, what does that mean? All right, I'll tell you. If you just start conversations, pretend for a moment that you don't have an opportunity. And I was paying you $1,000 for every meaningful conversation you can have, even via text or direct message. $1,000 for every one. How many conversations could you start and keep going? Back and forth. Just keep going. Hi, how you doing? What's going on? How's your day? How's your life? You'd make a lot of money, right? Well, I will tell you, you will make a lot of money if you simply do that. Start conversations. You're like, well, how does this apply to recruiting? It's everything. You start the conversation, you build some rapport, keep business out of it for now. Some people you can go direct, say, I've got an opportunity. Let's go talk about it. Let's go make some money. But for most, just start a conversation. Hey, Becky, how are you? I saw your name. It made me smile. How's your life? Vincent, what's up? What's going on? What do you have planned for the holidays? Anything you want to say, just say hello. And think of it like, people are all pickleball crazy now. So think about pickleball. You hit the ball over, that's your part of the conversation. They send it back. Then you hit it over again. And then you send it back. And then you hit it over again. Then you send it back. Now, it doesn't have to be like rapid fire, like in their face. It could be a couple days later. It could be when something's appropriate. You know when the conversation's kind of ended via text. You're done with it for today. And then you see a meme that makes you think of them. You send them the meme, or you say hi, or you do whatever. You keep the conversation going. And at some point in the conversation, there will be an opportunity for you to pivot. Pivot. To say, oh, by the way, did I ever tell you what I do? I've got this product that does this and this. I thought about you. I don't know if I ever mentioned it to you. Have I? No, you haven't. Want to try it? Think you might find it interesting? Whatever. You can pivot to product, or you can pivot to the opportunity. Said, hey, our conversation last week made me think, I've got this crazy idea. Call me crazy if you want. But I have an idea that maybe 1 + 1 could add up to more than 2. And I could be completely wrong. This is just a gut instinct. If I sent you some information, if I invited you to a Zoom call, explained it better than I could, would you show up? If I sent you a link, would you watch it? And like I say, no pressure, no nothing. If it's weird, don't worry about it. All business is conversation. All business is conversation. You will be just absolutely shocked what happens if you start a conversation without a business attached and you look for the opportunity to pivot naturally into product or opportunity. And here's the deal. You're in charge. You are of the conversation. So I'm in a number of conversations that I have a specific intent, and I am not going to let go until I win. It sounds funny, and the best way to describe it is like, look, so we have this big crazy studio that we do our GoPro events from here in town. And I have some celebrity friends that live here in Vegas also, and I know we can do some business together. So just imagine that's my network marketing product, right? All I want to do is get them to take a look. And once I get them to take a look, I want them to try it. And once they try it, I want them to try it again. And then I want them to tell their friends, and then I want them to, then let's see if we can do business together. Let's see if we can turn this into something. Okay. So I've done this with many, many high profile people that I've been going since April, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And not taking it personal when they ghost me and being okay with it when they respond back. And just one thing after the other leads to incredible open opportunities. I might be oversimplifying, but let me just tell you, here's two big trends that are happening right now. Pre-pandemic, people were about, I would say, 25% in person when it came to prospecting, coffee shops, living rooms, Starbucks, that kind of thing, lunch, breakfast, and 75% using digital, social media, et cetera, Zoom, stuff like that. During pandemic, it went all the way to 100% digital. The biggest people that are growing right now have swung back to about 25 to 35% in person. So you'll be surprised how much in person you book now, the readiness of it. You still 65% virtual, Zooms, different things, and 35% in person, Starbucks, living rooms, all that stuff. You'll be stunned the change that happens in recruiting.
Yeah, let me say one thing. I couldn't agree more. I say this to people that I talk in one-on-ones almost on a weekly basis. I firmly believe that there is not a single person on this call that would not dominate if they had 3 or 4 of their best girlfriends in town that they could get together on a regular basis, that were equally ambitious, equally hungry as them, that weren't sitting there, suckling from the mama teat, but we're saying, I'm ready. I want to run. Let's go. We're going to do this. We got wine night on Thursday. We're going to go make 100 calls together as a group. When you've got that kind of camaraderie, when you've got that kind of energy together, Zoom is one thing, but when you're face to face, when you're with that energy, it literally exemplifies everything to the nth degree. And so Misty had a comment, giving the business opportunity scares me. And I just wanted to touch on this comment real quick because she says, I have no idea why. My big thing that I always say is, the opportunity, you don't need to present the opportunity. That's the beautiful thing of the tools, right? And so maybe speak on that a little bit to those that might have some fear getting into that and how they could, take away some of that fear, not have to feel it because they can, simplify it.
It's an evolution. It was a good tool for me. Here was my evolution. When I first got involved, I went to go talk to my friends and I got absolutely smashed in the face because I was 23 and nobody was interested. They all wanted to make enough money to get to the weekend. So I quickly learned that my direct approach was not going to work. And I tried to go talk to a couple of successful people, which I was not a successful person, and that didn't work at all. So I learned real fast, if I just introduce my prospect to somebody more successful than me, my upline, and I found some people in my upline that were willing to do presentations for me. If I just introduced them, I could sit back and I didn't have to do the work. It was like a little cheat code. Like I have this person, I say, hold on, don't ask me any questions. I don't know nothing. But these people, they know all of it. So if I introduce you, would you want to, maybe you can ask that question to them. So I just set up appointments with people smarter than me. That was my first evolution. And
let me say before you get to the second one, on the first evolution, I can promise you right now, there is not a single one of you that has an upline that would not do cartwheels throughout their whole house if you're reaching out to them on a regular basis saying, I've got someone I want to get on a 3-way call with you. Now they might balk at hey, can we do another call where you tell me about what I need to do? And can we do another call telling me, hyping me up again and pumping me up again for the 100th time? But if you're coming to them saying, I got someone else I want to put you on the phone with, there's not an upline on this planet I know of. That's not going to be like happy, happy, joy, joy. Let's do it. And so I just wanted to drop that in there because it's sometimes people are like, I don't want to bug my upline, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to bug them.
To be honest, it was a little uncomfortable. Like a 3-way phone call was really awkward for me. I learned to use it and love it, but talking to a prospect, playing myself down, and then say, can I introduce you to some people that are smarter than me? I will tell you honestly, they weren't always available. So what I learned to do was I found 4 or 5 people that they would do it for me and I'd do it for their prospects. So I kind of had this little, dialing list to be able to quickly set up these little things. You can find a resource. You can find another human resource inside of your organization somewhere. And some of them were cross-line. They didn't have to be my upline. They just had to be somebody that was not me. Anybody that was not me. And that worked fine. Then I found out that they were holding meetings in town, like at hotels, back when that used to happen. And people would invite people to those presentations. I could just bring people and people would see the opportunity and they'd see some social proof. That was really good. And then they came out with a videotape, back when they had physical video instead of links now. So I could get somebody to watch that. I could have as many meetings going on as I wanted. I could use the tape as the tool. And now they have Zoom. So you just invite people to a Zoom, have the Zoom do the presentation. You just introduce and let the Zoom do the work. And then after the Zoom, I could introduce them again to another real human. They could ask some questions or answer some questions that I couldn't answer. So I learned to lean on others and it actually worked better. The worst thing that could have happened is if I was so influential that everybody signed up with me because it was me instead of the opportunity, because I'd only be able to bring in people that looked up to me and then they'd do the same thing and they'd bring people that only looked up to them. And pretty soon there's people like, I can't do what you guys can do because I don't have that kind of influence. What worked for me is I was able to do it without influence, without respect, really, without success, without results. I was able to learn how to be a bridge between information and the prospect. Prospect over here, information's over here. I was a bridge and I got out of the way. I said, my goal was for the customer to become educated on what I had. And if they like it, they'll either see it or they don't. They'll say yes or they'll say no, it's fine. But learning how to do that is key, how to pivot to a tool or to an event. But let me just give you a quick cheat code, okay? And I'd like you to start while we're on the Zoom. I got 15 minutes. I'll cover as much as I can in these 15 more minutes. But during these 15 minutes, here's what I'd like you to do is I would like you to start as many conversations as you can while we're on the Zoom. Even if you just have to say hi to as many people as you possibly can. And I'll have the honor system. Whoever does the most, I'll give you a virtual VIP ticket to GoPro. Whoever does the most in the next 15 minutes, okay? Whoever does the most. So it's a race. So that's a $350 ticket. So I'll give it to you for free. All right? So
y'all better get dialing.
As many people as you could just say hi to. Just text them. Say hi while you're on this. Hi, 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 hi. How are you? Hi. What's going on? Hi, 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 hi. Over and over and over. Okay? Anybody that's not a customer, not a distributor. Doesn't matter. Just start as many as you can start. Now, let me give you something. If you want to have your holiday specials, your Black Friday, your Cyber Monday, which I'm sure the company's got some cool stuff prepared for you to close out the month. If the more conversations you start now, the bigger that's going to be. You start just normal conversation. Just have it, just have it, just have it, just have it. And say, hey, by the way, since we've been talking, we got this big Black Friday thing. We got this big, Small Business Saturday or Cyber Monday thing going. I just thought I'd let you know. You're already in conversation. It's not out of the blue. You've already kind of warmed it up. So you want to get big results to close the month? Do that. Combination of that and get as many people on the Zooms that the company's putting on as you could possibly put on. But I don't want to mean to oversimplify, but really, really get yourself out of the way and don't worry about what you're supposed to say. Just be normal. Be a normal human being. You don't have to like act weird. Just say hello. What's going on? What's new? What's your plans for the holidays? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then keep it going. And people say, well, what happens if they ghost you? Then they ghost you. It's okay. If you start 100 of these conversations, some are never going to respond. That's all right. I'll tell you quickly. I have a couple like celebrity conversations that I have going on right now that literally have been happening since April. April. This is one, right? You can see the blue, whatever. Started in April. This conversation has been going and 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 going all the way through Saturday. Now, that's a person, every one of you would know that person's name. I don't know if it's dawned on him yet, but he has no choice. He's good. We're going to do business together. He really doesn't have a choice. And you know how many times he ghosted me, like for a week in the middle of that since April? 10, 15 times. I'll find another in. I'll find another angle. I'll find another hook. I'll shoot him a meme. Here's what's going on with this. Here's what's going on with that. Why? Do I recommend doing this with every prospect? No. This is a high value, very high value prospect. So I'm going to be a little bit more tenacious. But I'll give you an example. There's one guy inside of our profession that I've never met. He's making about $7 million a year inside the profession. So I scheduled a Zoom with him 2 weeks ago. Okay, just say, I just want to say hi, because we never talked. No shows. Like, okay, well, all right. So I did follow up, and he's like, oh, sorry, so sorry. My back went out. I was laying in the hospital. I didn't have my phone. I couldn't move. I was laying on the floor. My apologies. No problem. Let's schedule it again. So we scheduled again for last week. He no-shows me again. This is like 2 weeks after the first time. And I'm like, really? I got a lot going on too. What the heck? And he gives me the, sorry, this and this and this and this and this and this and this. So no problem. Just let me know when we can talk for sure. So we just scheduled it for like 2 hours ago. And I had the conversation. It was lovely, nice, and we connected. But you can like start feeling like you're a big shot and like, well, they didn't show up twice. That's like, psh. I don't have time for this nonsense. No, all business conversations, stuff happens. No big deal. I'm not that big a deal. Don't take yourself so seriously. I'm going to have the conversation. So we had the conversation and he's lovely. He's nice, amazing guy. He'll be on the podcast. We'll have some conversations for sure. We'll do some stuff together for sure. Right. So all business conversation. Once you have the conversation, so you can keep the conversation going. Now that I'm in real conversation with this gentleman, I'll just keep the conversation going because I think we can do some stuff together. I think we can do stuff with studio. I think you do stuff with him and his company. A lot of stuff we can do. So I'm a pro. I'm in charge of the conversation. I keep it light. I keep it fun. I find out what people resonate with and what they don't. Okay. And I'm patient. I'll keep coming back around. Same thing with you. So here's the thing. Here's my challenge. How many conversations have you started so far? Throw it into the chat. How many you started so far?
While they're putting those in the chat, what I wanted to say is, don't you feel like so much of this really falls back to, it's so cliche, it's so kitschy, but it really, to marry the process, to just fall in love with the process, and to really ultimately divorce the result, to kind of let go of this finish line. What I've noticed from most of those that are the $1 million earners in our space is they have really retired into their business. They have fallen in love with the developing of leaders. Maybe they're not actively prospecting every day anymore, but they have fallen in love with the beauty of what this profession represents. And my big thing is what you've just got done saying. If the process that they had to marry was that simple, I think so many people, the number one catch of our profession is overcomplication. I think that so many people want to come in and create something that doesn't need to be created. If the simple system was starting conversations and getting those conversations in front of the information that was not coming from you, so you didn't need to be the expert with the information. You didn't need to be the expert in the comp plan. You didn't need to know all the ingredients of the products. You simply needed to know how to start a conversation and to continue that conversation till, like he said, that point happens where it is natural to pivot, to make a quick, hey, did you know? Were you ever interested? Would you, whatever it might be, but to fall in love with that piece. And to, like he said, get it going so many times with so many people that when that one person says no, it doesn't matter. So many of you get a no and it crushes you because it's the only person you've been talking to for 2 months. And they say no, and you're like, oh, the world is over. But if you've got, what I always say is it's lines in the water. It's fishing. If you got 20 lines in the water, if you lose the bait on one, you don't care because you're pulling in fish all over the boat.
Right.
And so I think that, again, it's so kitschy, but marrying the process and more importantly, the right process.
And here's what I would tell you. The only part of that I argue with the language slightly is fall in love with the process. For me, I didn't love all pieces of the process. I loved the act of helping someone. I love the act. I love this part, but the actual prospecting recruiting part triggered me in all kinds of self-worth ways that I'm still to this day, after 35 years, I can do it, but I love the transformation that comes after somebody has had their sight given to them and they can see a better future for themselves. I love somebody stepping into their full potential. I love the personal development that happens in our business. I love celebrating somebody's rank advancement or their first check. I love all of those different things. The front end was always awkward for me, but I was willing to do it because I knew it was on the other side. If I didn't care for the people on the other side, I wouldn't do the thing to get to the other side. See what I mean? So, but you're right when it says the process is the thing. If you put results on the side for a second and you just have conversations with people that be a normal person, keep the conversation going. And you're like, what's my purpose? Keep the conversation going. And guess what? When they join your team, guess what your goal is after they join your team? Keep the conversation going. Oh, that's all I have to do? Yep. And you'll find pivots to little conversations, little assignments that you'll give people in those conversations. Hey, try this. Here's this thing. Here's this next thing. Here's this next thing. See what I mean? So, and as they rank advance, keep the conversation going. As they become an earner, keep the conversation going. When they become a leader, keep the conversation going. That's what is, kind of the business that we're in, as simplistic as that might be. Learning how to become effective at recruiting, learning how to become effective at duplication, which is teaching people how to do what you did, helping them go from dependent to independent, and then ultimately teaching all of you, teaching yourself and teaching others how to become an effective leader. How do you develop that at scale? That's really the prize. The prize is the sale. Nothing happens without a sale, but the prize is, can you get some leverage from building a team? Can you get some duplication of them doing it with or without you? And can you develop leadership? Because that's the real prize, a leader that builds this with or without you, loves you, have good relationship, but the leaders that are, you've given them the tools to be free for the rest of their lives, to literally be able to control their own future. It's such a rewarding feeling. It's unbelievable. So here's what I will tell you. First, my challenge to all of you, and Taylor, we'll give away 3 VIP tickets. Okay, you get to pick. I'll have you pick from the chat or something, how you're going to do it. Whoever has the 3 most, or however you're going to pick, most conversations started by the end of your Zoom, give away 3 VIP tickets, let our team know, and we'll give them those tickets, okay? $350 tickets for GoPro. GoPro's December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Second, challenge each of you to start and keep going 100 conversations starting today. If you do that, you'll be so prepared for when Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all that stuff kicks in. You'll be able to cash in on all those conversations by saying, hey, by the way, have you heard the news? I have this thing. I've got this special. I've got this and this and this. Do you want to take advantage of it? People are ready to buy. They're ready to buy during this season of time. You just have to give them a reason to buy your stuff. So, and if some of you haven't done this ever and you're up to 29 and it's a big deal for you, I'm excited for you. You just did that in like 10 minutes. What if that was a normal habit and you always had the pipeline full? Any moment you want, any day you want, you can just pivot and recruit, pivot and sign a customer, pivot, pick the one you want and go. Now I want you to think, you're not sure what to send them. Just say hello. What would you say to that person if you had no business opportunity? You're like, I don't recognize this person in my phone. Just say, I don't recognize you. Who are you? You're in my phone. How did we meet? That would be fine. Okay. So people are responding, right? Guess what? All of this is putting all of you in business. You have the ability to grow. You have the ability now to pivot when you're ready, or work with your upline, or work with a friend, or get some training to, and Taylor has companies putting on some opportunity Zooms. You can invite them to those. You can invite them to a tool. You can invite them to try a product. You can invite them to talk to a friend. You can invite them to all different kinds of stuff. You could share with each other what's working, what's not working when it comes to having these conversations, and what's a good pivot. Okay. So let me tell you this, and the only reason why is I have another Zoom starting in a few minutes. So let me just share one very cool thing with you, because I'm very proud of what your company is doing. It's a remarkable thing. They really want to invest in you. They want to see you become highly skilled, known, help make the company more known. You as an entrepreneur, as a network marketing professional, more known. So there's a big event coming up December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. It's called GoPro Experience. You might have heard about it. It's 400 people in person and then broadcast virtually around the world. 3 days of the top network marketing training in the world. Day 1 is on recruiting. Day 2 is on duplication. Day 3 is on leadership. Now, a ticket is normally $200, but the company is subsidizing your ticket. If you want to get a ticket for this, for $150 of the $197. And the only reason, and I recommended that everybody needs to have a little skin in the game. Everybody out there has to have a little skin in the game to treat it seriously. Because paying for all of it, people won't appreciate it. So they cover $150. You've got $47 to pay to get a 3-day event. A 3-day event. And they've thrown the link into the chat. If you go to that link, you'll have this. I don't know how long the company's willing to do this. I know they're willing to do it in the short term for you and your team, but it's a pretty big gift. It shows that they believe in you, that they want you to win. And you're all going to be in your own Zoom rooms inside of the event. You're going to have an event inside of the event. You're going to be able to learn and grow and chat with each other as it's all going on. All the details are on the page, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Plus there's a 3-day replay. So and any conflicts with the first, second, and third, you'll be able to take care of. But here's what I would tell you. 1, load up the conversations. 2, maximize Black Friday, Cyber Monday. 3, maximize the company's Zooms that they're doing, opportunity Zooms. Make sure you maximize those. 4, get every single possible person on your team to attend GoPro with you. Take advantage of the company's investment. $47 ticket. It's really worth thousands what you're going to get for your training. $47 ticket. And there's the link on the page. You can barcode like you've done at all the restaurants during the pandemic. So you finally figured out how that thing works. Or make sure you save that link or take a screenshot of this so you have it and you can share it with everybody on your team. Again, I don't know how long the company's going to do it. So I would take advantage of it while it's available. You know, they might have a limit to the number of people they're willing to cover, but they wanted for sure the people that were on here to be covered and quickly reach your team to be able to take advantage of it. So it's a magical time. I will tell you this, the next 18 months, in the next 18 months, there's a huge opportunity. If you become loud, if you add quantity to everything that you're doing, quantity is the solution to almost every problem you have. Whatever you're doing, do more of it. And people are going to be looking for a home. They're going to be looking for a good culture. They're going to be looking for good people. They're going to be looking for people who lead by example. And if that's you, the next 18 months is going to be amazing. So I'm proud of all of you. And Taylor, I'll pass it back to you and let you continue. But everybody, have a spectacular rest of your evening.
Well,
I hope I see you at GoPro.
Yeah, stay
right,
here for
ahead.
a second. I got to give you some props. Got to let everyone give you all the love in the chat for a second. I know you got to leave in 3 minutes. So everyone, let them hear it in the chat. First and foremost, a giant thank you to Eric Worre for taking some very, very valuable time out of his schedule to be with us this evening. This is what I'm going to say in closing this Zoom out. This is what I'm going to say to each and every one of you. My wish, my dream for you is that this time next year, your life looks completely different. And how that happens is starting now. One of my favorite quotes ever is when the opportunity of a lifetime presents itself, make sure to act within the lifetime of that opportunity. And what I will tell you is right now we have the opportunity of a lifetime. 3 days for what you would pay for a movie ticket by yourself and a bucket of popcorn, or your 2 Starbucks, 3 Starbucks trips, 1 meal by yourself out. You guys, this is a 3-day full intensive event. There is not a better use of your $50 that I guarantee you that you could give me. Not one better use of your $50 if you take this business seriously. So what I will tell you is make sure you are registered. Make sure your teams get registered for this. Because what we're going to have is an amazing November leading right into a huge December. Me and the executive team, we're already working on some amazing things that we're going to be doing within that event. We're going to be doing some fun giveaways. And we, like he said, we have our own private Zoom room. And again, a huge thank you to Eric Worre, the whole Network Marketing Pro team, Marina Worre, everyone, because you guys, he's getting on a Zoom. We just got off a Zoom a few days ago, and he's like, I got to get on a Zoom with another company. They've got like 7,000 people waiting for me on Zoom right now. Yo, we are blessed. We are blessed. Incredibly honored to have the value that we're getting, the price reduction on this ticket. Huge thank you to JT for subsidizing that. And then the support of Eric and the Network Marketing Pro team. So thank you again for all of your time. Appreciate you. I know that we're going to blow this out on our end. And I'm just excited for the value that this event is going to bring for those that really participate, for those that dig in, as I know that this year it's all you. A couple fun celebrities, but you're bringing the fire this year, and super excited for that. So again, thank you so much for your time.
Very welcome.
Thank you to Danny and Amelia, everyone on the team. Appreciate all of them.
You're very welcome. Everybody go out there and crush it. And I'll see you next time. Love you, son. Talk to you soon.
Okay. You got it. Love you guys. God bless you. We will see you on the Wednesday Zoom coming up 2 days from now. Let's load it up with guests. As always, I'm going to be doing a fun giveaway. And so make sure you load it up because I want to give your guests some fun prizes. Until then, you guys, God bless you. Bye for now.